If you're over 60, chances are you've had those nights where you wake up again and again just to use the bathroom. During the day, the urine stream feels weak. Sometimes it starts, sometimes it stops. And no matter what, it never feels like the bladder empties completely. Many men tell me they feel drained, restless, and robbed of energy because their nights are no longer restful. It's common to think, well, that's just part of getting older. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be this way. These problems are often not just from age alone. In many cases, it's the result of everyday habits, little things men do without realizing, that silently put pressure on the prostate. What feels like a small inconvenience now can slowly turn into years of discomfort if nothing changes. My name is Dr. Olivia Mitchell, and for more than 10 years, I've cared for men dealing with exactly these issues. I've seen both sides. Men in their 80s, still walking tall, sleeping peacefully, living free of prostate troubles, and men in their mid-60s already struggling with catheters and constant urinary problems. The difference is rarely luck. It's the habits they've carried through daily life. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 10 most dangerous habits that can silently enlarge your prostate. More importantly, I'll show you how to replace them with healthier choices that bring relief, restore confidence, and protect your quality of life. Stay with me until the end, because even small changes started today can make a real difference in how you feel in the weeks ahead. Before we get into the habits themselves, let's take a moment to understand why the prostate plays such an important role in men's health. The prostate is a small gland about the size of a walnut, sitting right below the bladder. It surrounds the urethra, the very tube that carries urine out of the body. When the prostate is healthy, you barely notice it. But when it starts to enlarge, it presses against the urethra like a clamp. That's why urination becomes difficult, interrupted, or urgent. For many men, this pressure leads to constant trips to the bathroom at night, weak flow, or even infections when the bladder never fully empties. But what's often overlooked is that the prostate also affects intimacy and sexual health. When it's inflamed or enlarged, it can interfere with erections, lower energy, and cause frustration in relationships. Now, here's the key point. An enlarged prostate isn't simply the price of aging. Yes, age plays a role, but research shows that inflammation and lifestyle habits have just as much influence. The foods you eat, how much you move, your stress levels, even how often you drink water. All of these tiny daily choices either protect the prostate or slowly irritate it. I've seen patients who thought their prostate troubles were inevitable, only to experience major improvements after changing small routines. And I've also met men who ignored these signals until it was too late, ending up with painful urinary retention or surgery. That's why it's so important to know which habits are quietly harming you. Once you understand the why, the how to fix it becomes so much easier. So let's begin the countdown of the 10 most dangerous habits for your prostate, and more importantly, how you can turn them into healthier ones. Habit 10. Drinking too little water. Many men over 60 believe that cutting back on water will reduce those nighttime trips to the bathroom. It sounds logical, but in reality, it backfires. When the body doesn't get enough fluids, urine becomes concentrated and acidic. This irritates both the bladder and the prostate, creating inflammation that encourages the prostate to enlarge. I've had patients who told me, "Doctor, I barely drink water all day, but I still wake up 3 or 4 times at night." The truth is, dehydration makes the bladder more sensitive, not less. On top of that, many medications older men take, like blood pressure pills, already cause fluid loss. A dehydrated body also holds onto toxins, putting extra stress on the urinary system. The solution is simple. Sip small amounts of water throughout the day. Aim for pale yellow or clear urine. Don't be afraid of water. It's your best ally. Habit 9. Sitting for hours. After retirement, it's easy to spend hours in a chair watching TV or reading, but long periods of sitting place constant pressure on the pelvic area, slowing blood flow to the prostate. Poor circulation equals more inflammation. The pelvic muscles also weaken when inactive, making it harder to fully empty the bladder. Leftover urine lingers, irritating the prostate even more. One gentleman I treated said he could watch entire soccer matches without moving once, and his prostate reminded him later. A simple rule helps. Every 30 minutes, stand up and walk for at least 2 minutes. Even a trip to the kitchen counts. Small movements keep blood flowing and relieve pelvic pressure. Habit 8. Too much caffeine. Coffee is a morning ritual for many, but excess caffeine is rough on the prostate. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, which means it forces the bladder to produce more urine while also making the bladder muscles contract more often. For men with a sensitive prostate, that means urgency, leakage, and discomfort. It also tightens the muscles at the bladder neck, leaving urine trapped inside. I'm not saying you must give up coffee entirely. 1 cup in the morning is usually fine. The problem comes when you drink cup after cup all day long. Try switching the 2nd or 3rd cup for decaf or herbal tea. Sometimes, just this small change reduces symptoms dramatically. Habit 7. Overly spicy and processed foods. A flavorful meal is a joy, but when the plate is filled with fiery spices or packaged foods, the prostate pays the price. Spicy meals, loaded with black pepper, chili, or hot sauces, don't just burn the tongue. They also trigger inflammation throughout the body, including in the prostate. A little spice now and then is fine, but daily doses can irritate an already sensitive gland. Processed foods are even worse. Think chips, cold cuts, frozen dinners, and fast food. These are packed with preservatives, artificial colorings, excessive sodium, and unhealthy fats. Too much salt leads to fluid retention, putting pressure on the bladder and prostate. Bad fats and additives can also throw off hormone balance, particularly testosterone, which influences prostate size. The fix isn't bland food, it's balance. Choose fresh vegetables, fruits, fish, and nuts. A colorful salad, a piece of grilled salmon, or even a bowl of lentil soup can be delicious and kind to your prostate. Habit 6. Holding in urine. We've all done it, waiting to use the bathroom because we're too busy, or the restroom isn't nearby. But holding urine too often stretches the bladder and puts downward pressure on the prostate, which sits right beneath it. Over time, this causes irritation and swelling. For older men, the bladder muscles are already weaker. Delaying urination leads to leftover urine staying behind, perfect fuel for bacteria and infection. I remember one patient, a retired bus driver, who admitted he trained himself to hold it for hours. Years later, he faced recurring urinary infections and worsening prostate problems. The advice is simple. Listen to your body. When you feel the urge, don't delay. Going right away keeps both the bladder and the prostate healthier. Habit 5. Smoking, or being around smokers. Cigarettes are one of the prostate's worst enemies. Even secondhand smoke is harmful. The chemicals in tobacco narrow blood vessels, reduce circulation, and increase inflammation. They also raise oxidative stress, weakening the body's ability to repair itself. Over time, this accelerates prostate enlargement and even raises the risk of cancer. The hopeful news is that once you quit, benefits appear quickly. Within weeks, circulation improves and inflammation drops. One of my older patients told me he never thought quitting at 70 would matter, but his sleep and bathroom visits improved noticeably within months. Habit 4. Avoiding doctor visits. Many men only go to the doctor when pain or symptoms become unbearable, but that approach is risky, especially after age 60. The prostate can enlarge quietly, without obvious signs at first. By the time trouble appears, options are often limited. Simple screenings, like a PSA blood test or a digital rectal exam, can detect problems early before they turn serious. These exams may sound uncomfortable, but they are quick and can save years of suffering. I've met men who avoided the doctor out of embarrassment, only to end up in the emergency room with urinary retention. Early care often means lifestyle changes are enough, without surgery or heavy medications. Think of annual checkups as insurance for your quality of life. Prevention is always easier than treatment. Habit 3. Eating too much red meat. Steaks, burgers, and sausages may be staples at the dinner table, but daily consumption can slowly irritate the prostate. Studies show that red and processed meats are linked to higher levels of inflammation and oxidative stress. Saturated fats and preservatives interfere with hormone balance, fueling prostate growth. Digestion also slows as we age, and heavy meats linger longer in the system. This adds to weight gain and pressure in the pelvic region. That doesn't mean you must give up meat entirely. Instead, limit red meat to once or twice a week. Replace some meals with grilled chicken, fish, or plant-based proteins. Even hearty bean stews or lentil soups can satisfy while supporting prostate health. Habit 2. Carrying excess belly fat. A larger waistline is more than a cosmetic concern. Belly fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory chemicals that circulate throughout the body, including the prostate. This chronic inflammation not only enlarges the gland, but also disrupts hormones like testosterone and estrogen, which regulate prostate growth. Extra weight also physically presses against the bladder and prostate, adding mechanical pressure to an already sensitive area. Men with larger waists often experience more nighttime urination and even erectile difficulties. The solution isn't a crash diet. Instead, start small. A short daily walk, smaller meal portions, and cutting back on sugary snacks. Losing even a few pounds can bring real relief. I once had a patient who trimmed just 5 kilograms over 6 months, and his nighttime trips to the bathroom dropped by half. Dangerous habit 1. Chronic stress. Among all the habits that harm the prostate, chronic stress is perhaps the most underestimated and the most dangerous. Stress doesn't just weigh on the mind, it leaves a physical mark on the body, especially the prostate. When you live in constant tension, whether from financial worries, family responsibilities, or health concerns, your body produces high levels of stress hormones like cortisol. Over time, these hormones fuel inflammation, tighten the pelvic muscles, and restrict blood flow. The nerves around the prostate also become more sensitive, which worsens urinary urgency and discomfort. I recall a gentleman in his late 60s who told me, "Doctor, I can handle the bathroom trips, but the stress of it all keeps me awake at night." In truth, the stress was feeding the problem, making his nights even harder. Once he began practicing simple relaxation techniques, his symptoms eased. Managing stress isn't about ignoring problems. It's about giving the body a chance to recover. Even 10 minutes a day of deep breathing, gentle stretching, or quiet reflection can make a difference. Light exercise, laughter with friends, or spending time outdoors are natural medicines for both mind and body. And don't overlook sleep. Quality rest allows the body to reset hormone levels and repair inflammation. When stress is left unchecked, it steals sleep, and the cycle continues. But when stress is managed, the prostate benefits directly. Remember this: your prostate is not only affected by what you eat or drink, but also by how you feel each day. Taking care of your emotional health is one of the most powerful steps you can take for physical health. Reducing stress is free, it's available to everyone, and it may be the very key to keeping your prostate calm and comfortable. We've now gone through the 10 everyday habits that can quietly enlarge the prostate and steal comfort from your life. Some of them may seem small, like sitting too long or drinking 1 cup too many of coffee. But over the years, they add up. The encouraging news is this: change doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with just one habit this week. Drink more water. Take a short walk every afternoon. Cut back on processed food or practice a few minutes of deep breathing. These little steps, when done consistently, bring real relief. Your prostate will thank you with stronger flow, fewer nighttime interruptions, and a more peaceful, energetic life. And now, I'd love to hear from you. If you're ready to take action, ready to change even one habit, type the number 1 in the comments below. Let's see how many men are choosing health and comfort today.